What are we? We experience suffering with the four elements. We experience happiness with the four elements. We feel joy, sorrow, and laugh with the four elements. We cry with the four elements. This is what crazy people do when we experience emotional suffering. But we try to take medicine to cure emotional suffering. It doesn't cure it. No matter how many months or years we take the medicine, even 10 years, it doesn't cure it, because it doesn't cure the root cause. Where does depression come from? It comes from the mind, whether it's depression or bipolar disorder, mental illness, insanity, any kind of mental illness, they're all gone. Just knowing is enough. Practice is called abrasion practice. The power of abrasion is to make our mind see correctly. When our minds have been wrong since birth, then we have to abrade, train our minds to see correctly. That is called right view. Seeing correctly means seeing the truth of nature, because nature also shows straightforwardly, right according to the truth of nature. Whether it's suffering, whether it's happiness, all occur from nature. Happens because of the causes of nature. Once there's a cause for happiness, then there's happiness. Once there's a cause for suffering, then there's suffering. But we mistakenly see why there's suffering. It should be happiness, even though it's suffering now. We hope it should be happy. Then we try to fix the suffering that's already there to make it happy. Struggling, wanting happiness instead of suffering. Even though the truth of suffering, it already shows itself by the normal course of nature. There's no one to be extraordinary and to be able to change the nature of suffering. We cannot change daytime and nighttime, darkness and brightness. So darkness and brightness during daytime and nighttime are normal. Both happiness and suffering are the same. It's normal. We see the brightness, see the darkness. We are never troubled because of darkness and brightness, but we see happiness and suffering that occur all the time. That's it. So we get upset with suffering. Actually, it's not suffering at all. It's just a feeling. It arises, stays, and fades away. When there's suffering, it changes into happiness. Happiness arises, stays, and fades away. It's like this world. The round world where humans and animals rely on the entire planet. Actually, this world isn't dark. This world isn't bright. But what's bright is the sunlight. What's dark is because there's no sunlight hitting the Earth's surface. So the world remains the world. Whether it's darkness or brightness, it's the nature that this world relies on. So happiness and suffering are the same. It's about the body, it's about the mind. Happiness affects body, suffering affects body, and it goes into the mind. It changes like this all the time. It's no different from the darkness and brightness that come and go. We only have one body. We only have one knower. That's enough to correct everything. Correct the misconception that we've been wrong about all our lives. Believe it's our. If we learn that it's the nature of the four elements, earth, water, fire, air, then earth, water, fire, air are nothing. It's just a manifestation. Wind blows. Strong or a gentle breeze blowing, that's the nature of the wind to blow. Rain falls, whether it's a storm or light rain. That's the nature of rain. The sun sometimes comes with clouds, sometimes bright, sometimes faint. When there are no clouds, it's bright. That's the nature of the world. Sunlight shines. Wind blows. The river flows. It's all nature. Earth breaking apart and decaying. It's nature and then returning to the same. That's the nature of all four elements. It shows all the true nature. Because the truth of nature is what we never know. If we observe the truth of the four elements within our bodies, if we observe the truth of the four elements externally, it's the same. And within us, there are only four elements. Apart from the elements, there is nothing but the four elements. In the body, hair, skin, nails, teeth, all come from the four elements. Feelings also come from the four elements. Sensations also come from the four elements. Eyes also come from the four elements. Taste, smell, sound, all come from the four elements. Everything is a natural phenomenon. And then we go crazy, happy with the four elements. Crazy, sad with the four elements. All the four elements demonstrate fully. It's nothing. And what about us? Suffering with the four elements, happiness with the four elements. Happy, sad, laughing, crying with the four elements. This is madness. Crazy with the abnormal when the four elements are totally normal. They are what they are, that's the right understanding. It's all correct. Knower is correct. All four elements are working correctly. Happiness, suffering are correct. All are correct because we immerse ourselves in the four elements. That's why we have mental suffering. The mental suffering leads to depression. That's when we've got mental illness. But we take medication to cure it. Mental illness won't be cured. No matter how many months, years of medication, it won't disappear because it doesn't treat the root cause. Depression happens in the mind that is immersed in emotions, the mind that is immersed in the four elements. Now we know that the four elements are nature and take a step back and observe how the four elements work. Observe how feelings work. Observe how suffering works. Observe how happiness works, whether it's depression or bipolar disorder. Mental illness, insanity, whatever, it will all disappear. Just take a step back and observe. So what is wrong with you? With this world, it's already what it is. COVID is nature. What are we looking for with COVID? It comes and goes, so we must be familiar with this condition. Familiar with the condition. In the end, we can live with this condition, all suffering, all sadness, all conditions. We can live with it because we have resilience against all kinds of suffering and sadness. The world of COVID is meaningless. It doesn't disappear from this world because it will be present everywhere in this world. So we must understand its nature to access reality. See the truth according to the reality of everything. That is the right understanding as taught by the Buddha.